Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you. Today we're going to do a hypnotist guide to surviving a divorce and come out thriving.
Perfect.
Yes. So I want to welcome Sheena here, and we're so glad to have her. Sheena and I have been friends since how long?
I was 6, so over 30 years.
Over 30 years, yeah. And now we are sister-in-laws. Yes.
But
Ex
always
now.
sister-in-law.
Yes, which is why we are one of the reasons we're here today, right? Because I experienced your whole divorce the first time around just because we were so close that whole time.
Yeah.
And then, we both had then divorces since then as well.
Yeah. First one, young age. Next one, adult. So I kind of was more aware of what I was going through and feeling and experiencing. So
yeah,
I think our situations were like a lot more intense.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially that second time around for you.
Yes.
My divorce was after a 15-year marriage, which you saw go up and down and all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a roller coaster, especially around the end. But, we got through it.
You did.
Yeah.
And you're thriving.
I'm thriving, and so are you, girl.
That's why we're here, to talk about that.
That's right. So I want to give people who are going through, just that really tough time in their divorce. They're having to make like these big decisions, and there's just so much like drama and chaos and just pain,
Yeah.
And I kind of just want to give a little bit of light to that and to help people with some tips and tricks of like what to do and what not to do, especially like what we did,
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah. You ready to unlock some secrets?
Yeah, be raw about it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay,
so my first topic I wanted to touch on is a big one that I hear a lot about is when you're going through a divorce and it can really send you into survival mode when you feel like they're alienating those kids against you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you went through a lot of that.
I did. But, it was something that I needed to kind of learn how to maneuver through to now have like a really good co-parenting relationship with that person.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I have not been able to have a good co-parenting relationship, as you know, but I try. So there was a lot of alienating on my end as well. And just navigating through that, 6 years. I just realized today it's been 6 years since we separated.
Wow.
But it's still a process daily.
Yeah.
And it's just all of my mindset of how I choose to look at it. I feel like makes a massive impact on my life and everybody's.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Having that mindset of like always looking out for the kids and, things like that will really help benefit because you'll make better decisions,
It's rough.
Yeah,
at the beginning, I would say for the first couple of years, like I wanted to do what my ex was doing, and made mistakes along the way, but always my sole focus was my daughter. So that is what kept me going really through all of the had CPS called on me or DCS called on me. The police called multiple times. She was taken away from me and I had to fight, and it was during COVID.
Yeah.
So I was already isolated. But I did come out stronger for that. It was hard, but I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah. I know about the DCS cases and the cops being called too. We've had them show up at our house before.
Yeah.
Which is just silly because for 9 years I was a stay-at-home mom who was trusted to be with those children day in and day out. But,
That's my thought process too.
It's just something happens and the other person thinks you're dangerous. I don't know. But what you have to do when they're alienating those kids against you is never give up.
Right.
This reminds me of a story from my friend. I had like a little girls' date with her because she was going through a really hard time. Her kids were like literally not talking to her. So the alienation was like working. And the kids were believing everything the dad was saying because she was in school to be like a family nurse practitioner, you know, some big, huge job. And she was already working. And so she was just trying to better her life.
Right.
And the dad used all that against her. And she was just devastated. But, you know, she never gave up. Whatever day her visitation was, I think it was like a Tuesday or something, he would drive the kids to her house. She would go out to the car and say hi and tell them that she loves them and ask them to come inside. And then they wouldn't. And then they would go. But that was, you know.
And she was able to get through it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a lot, especially when you're going to school.
Yeah, and she finished.
Oh,
you know?
Wow. She's super strong.
She's very strong.
So strong.
I know. I couldn't believe it, you know?
Yeah.
But people think because I didn't get to see my kids for 2 months, and then I had to do supervised visitation for 5 months after that.
It was a bit.
It was
But you were there.
Yeah, it was
You were there.
I know.
Every day.
So even though I had to have somebody sit with us and hang out with us while I was playing with my kids at the park,
yeah,
you know, they never stopped believing that like mom's gonna show up. Mom's gonna show up. If mom can be here, she's gonna be here.
Yeah, consistency is showing them, it's proving to them, and supersedes what they're being told when they're seeing your actions put into place. Versus what they're being told. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
I think so. In my case too, I just was made out to be a really bad person, and I'm just a huge kid at heart. Whether it's jumping on the trampoline, doing silly dances, like that's just who I am. So she, my little one, just needed to see that, and that's what we bond over. That's how we were able to grow that trust, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and that's like the whole thing. You got to kind of just prove them wrong, right? Like, yeah, they're going to say stuff about you. You can't control that. You can't control what's going to happen at the other house. Sorry, guys, you can't control it, right? Like, that's one of the most hardest things to come to accept. But once you do, and you just realize, like, okay, well, I know I can combat this by showing them who I really am. Prove them wrong, right? Like, show them that you're a mom who shows up, who's gonna jump on the trampoline, you know, you know, even just today you were singing songs with her on the phone and having fun. So, you know, she knows that you'll always show up like that for her, and that will supersede anything negative coming from the other person.
You're not going to change your ex's mind.
No.
And that's what you have to remember, is you're not going to change their mind. So your sole focus should always just be your kids.
Exactly. You're never going to change their mind. And you're never going to get them to see it your way.
Right.
Like, you can't tell them, like, you were abusive, you were mean to me. Like, they're going to be like, no, I wasn't. You're crazy. Look at you making up all these stories, and you're always causing fights. You know, it's always going to turn back around on you. So don't do it. Don't play into the game, right?
Yeah. Even if you use I feel statements. I mean, your relationship didn't work for a reason.
Yeah.
There was probably communication issues.
Of course.
So it's going to be even worse now with the communication. So I feels, or, you know, the blame game, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
All you can do is focus on yourself.
Yep. Focus on yourself. Show up for those kids. So how did you deal with the slander?
Oof. So I have always been a person, you can't take back your words. So I had to learn the hard way in my first divorce. So I've been divorced twice. But you just can't say hurtful words. Name calling honestly gets nowhere. But like reading the text really got to me.
Mm-hmm.
I believed it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am not a good mom. And sometimes I still struggle with that because I'm human, you know? It might just have been the right day. I just might have been in my feelings. It might have been that time of the month or whatever the case is. But I just didn't say it back. Like, you can say as much as you want. I would defend myself and explain why, but I never stooped to that level of the name calling.
Right. It's not worth it.
No.
And like, if you're in divorce and you're doing texts and you're sending emails and you're causing name calling and you're causing the problems and you're sending the huge long emails back, they don't like that shit. You know, they hate it. Judges don't want to read pages and pages of drama. You know, so if you're going through like the divorce process,
so
do not name call. Do not like stir up drama.
So I've heard from like different people where they said the judges didn't care. Like, they would read emails and what they would send to their exes would just like tear them apart. Okay, so like our exes would to us. But what does that resolve? Does that like leave a good feeling in your heart? It doesn't.
No.
Like, you're just creating an awful environment for your kids.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would banter back and forth with long emails because I felt like I was really trying to get my ex to see, like, this is where I came from. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You've known me for 8 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's pointless.
It falls on deaf ears.
It really does.
Falls on deaf ears. And another thing about not putting your ex-spouse down is that the kids, so this is what a therapist told me, a child always thinks that they are half one parent and half the other in both your situations, right? So when a parent talks bad about the other parent to the child or around the child or where the child can hear, they feel like you're talking bad about them because they associate themselves being half that parent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Never thought of it that way.
And you're literally going into their subconscious and putting in these negative messages about themselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really harmful to do that type of negative talk about anyone around your children, you know?
Right.
Or at all.
They probably relate, like they find so many things in common with the other parent, even though they may not express that to you. And there's probably so many things that they love about that parent that they don't express to you because they feel like they have to play both sides.
Exactly.
That's what I've experienced.
Yeah.
Even though I am open, she's still a child. You know what I mean? And she may not receive that from the other parent, but she's a kid and she wants to appease both parents.
Right.
So she sees herself in both of her parents. So talking any bad, definitely.
Yeah. I was so happy this weekend. My kids were so excited to go to their dad's house, and they were like,
Really?
yeah. So I was like, yay, you know, even though we've had so many struggles, they feel that they can tell me, oh yeah, we're excited to see dad. It's been so long.
That's so good.
Yeah. So that made me happy.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself.
And that leads me to my next point, which is do focus on positive memories. So, you know, they might be talking about all these terrible things, calling you a drug addict, telling them all this wild stories. Whereas you're going to be telling them about, remember the time that we went to the park and we kicked all the fall leaves and, you know, like, remember those times? That's what they want to talk about. They don't want to talk about nasty stuff about the other person, the person that they love so much, you know?
Yeah, give your kids good memories to think about. So then they maybe won't even focus on the negative of the divorce.
Right.
I think that's so good, and I definitely could do that way more instead of just, oh, what did you do? You know, this weekend over there.
Right.
I could actually just like, oh, you did that. I remember when you were a kid and we all did this together.
Yeah.
I think that's such good advice.
Because, I mean, I was with my ex-husband for 15 years. I don't want to delete 15 years of memories for my kids.
And you shouldn't.
No, that would be terrible. I mean, obviously we worked for a while or we wouldn't have been together for so long, right? So it's like, why would I want to make that all damp and dark for my kids in their memory? No, like I want that to be bright, happy memories that they can call upon still.
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard when you're in the moment. It's so hard to think outside of the situation that you're going in. You're in the middle of this horrific, terrible divorce. Mm-hmm. Lawyers are possibly involved to find those good moments. But just remember, this isn't your kid's fault.
Right.
They didn't ask for this, and they'll eventually understand that it didn't work out, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But just give them that light. Give them that hope to hold on to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's kind of like, you know, if you can't be there for them emotionally, maybe remove yourself, do something to get yourself regulated so that you can be there for your kids. You know, it's okay if mom needs to go meditate for 10 minutes in her room. Just let her be. And I tell my kids, they know when mom needs her time, you leave her alone, because I'm going to show up a lot better for you.
Honestly, yeah. I could apply that to my life now.
Yeah, you should. But that's good. So another major point that I often hear from my clients that are going through divorce is not being able to handle the fight or flight feeling. Like anytime their phone comes with the name, you know, like because you're getting a text from your ex, and then you're getting an email from your ex, and then you're getting all these things, and it's overwhelming. And literally, I know for me, it would literally put my body into fight or flight.
Yes.
Yeah, where your heart's racing, can't breathe, you're just, ugh.
I didn't have to worry about that so much when she was little, because when we separated, I think she was like 2.5 or 3. So it was just emails, and they would trigger me. Like, I remember I would have many, like, panic attacks, total mental breakdowns, where I would fall to my knees and just be sobbing. But the hardest thing for me has been exchanges. Like, when I physically have to see you. Mm-hmm. And so that was minimal. No, it was 3 times a week. It wasn't minimal. Mm-hmm. But the hardest thing is when we would have to interact at parent-teacher conferences. Oh,
I was just going to say, have you ever had to do parent-teacher conference?
Like, oof. I was sitting in the front office, and my skin was going to crawl out. Like, I couldn't slow my breath down. And at that time, I didn't have the tools that I have now to take deep breaths. The tapping that you've showed me has been so helpful that we can go and we can sit down and I can have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Like, about our kid. And I'm so, so grateful for that. And it took years.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
I know for me, one of my biggest reasons why I could go to parent-teacher conference and sit across from my ex, not run out of the room screaming, was because I had done hypnotherapy for it. You know, and that was when I was first discovering hypnotherapy. I was going through, like, I was desperate for any form of healing, and I was like, okay, this has helped me when I listen to hypnosis recordings. Yeah. So I found a hypnotherapist who's amazing. I still go to her to this day. You've met her.
I met her.
Yeah.
Yes, she's so great.
She's great. And so she did a session with me, and I remember she did this cord release. So you're like plugged into something that's either taking too much energy from you or supplying you with too much, which in a divorce is kind of a both way thing. So I saw it as this like just shooting in and out of me, like too much. And then she has me pull it out I mean, you're just laying there like this, you know, but you imagine pulling it out and then handing it off to like an angel or goddess, whoever will dissolve of it for you. And when I imagined unplugging, it literally felt like something came out of my body. It was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of my favorite
Game
hypnotherapy
changer.
experiences. Yeah, I walked away and I was like, whatever.
You
like,
could handle
whatever.
I saw a huge shift in you. Like during your divorce, and I would say it was when you started this whole journey prior to even becoming a hypnotherapist, and you sought it out for yourself. Like, you get so desperate, you don't know what to do.
Right. And so you're just looking for any form of healing.
Yeah, it's much better than medication. You don't want to medicate yourself.
You don't want to medicate yourself. And that was the path that I started heading down, you know, and then I started getting made out to be a drug addict because I was trying to feel better. And then so I cut all that out because I got my kids taken away from doing one stupid drug, you know. So I went totally clean, decided to go healing route, and it's been amazing.
It really has. Like your whole life. To think about it, how long ago was that? How many years ago?
5 years that I kind of started down this journey,
Yeah, because it was like right after I got separated, right? Same year, 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
Okay. Just to think about like how far you've come is like, it just warms my heart. It really does. Because I've known you for so long and I know your worth and like who you are. And so there was just a dark cloud over you and it's gone.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So you guys can feel like that too.
You can.
You can.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is do the work and do the healing. And you've done some hypnosis with me before.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first time, I remember the first time, I was going through a really rough patch and I didn't know what to expect. I had done some other things like breath work before, which was really awesome, but it was kind of like, what did I get myself into kind of thing?
Yeah.
With people like screaming in the room, and it was...
Oh, it was like one of those intense breath works?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, okay.
So, but with you, it was like just you and me, and your voice was just so calming. And I don't even remember like what was said, but the way I felt afterwards, like I'm not kidding, I had not felt that calm and that type of peace in so long.
Yeah.
And it really set me on a different path mentally. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it really does work to like rewire the nervous system so that you can be in a calmer state.
Yeah, instead of a fight or flight.
Instead of fight or fight.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you did when you gave in to the fight or flight? Like texting wise, or like what's a good what not to do, because this is what I used to do.
I feel like I would read the emails because we were email only. But I didn't, because I was responding within 10 seconds of receiving that email. And I would say take a minute. Like, don't have your notifications on. That's something that I learned.
Yeah.
Don't have your email notifications on. It's probably not like life or death, especially if you have the little one. They like to just get at you and ruin your time. That's what I learned, is they would like to ruin your time. So I would spend so much time. I spent my birthday one year fighting over email. And there was probably like 12 emails that went back and forth.
Yeah. What is with that? My daughter was in the hospital and I'm texting constantly to my ex. Constantly. To the point where my daughter's begging me to put down my phone.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's happened
It's
so many
maddening.
times. Yes, you literally are going to make yourself go crazy. You're going to put yourself in the loony bin.
I literally...
Which I did too.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just have to detach from that.
Before you get to the loony bin.
You really do. There is ways to avoid doing that. I wish I had all these tools prior. Oh my God, I really wish. But I'm actually so grateful that I did go through that, because it's made me such a stronger mom, a stronger person, a better friend. But don't read your emails. Don't read your texts. Just give it an hour. Silence your texts. Turn off your notifications.
Yeah.
Just give yourself some time.
I was so bad at it that I had to put a stop sign on my phone. The background of my phone was a stop sign, so that before I responded or would do anything, I would stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Yeah, that was my therapist's advice.
Right.
It's a DBT tool, because you train the mind to see these stop signs, and it trains you to stop.
I
slow
guess
down.
like, it works when we drive.
Yeah.
So why would it work
on your phone? It worked good for me for a while. So one of the things that we just talked about is like how you have so many emails, right? And we often want to respond to them. One of the ways that I helped organize all of my chaos was getting like a co-parenting app. Those are so helpful because you can get it all in one place. Or like now I just use a Google Voice number that's only his, so that everything has to go through that one Google Voice. It's the only way I'll text him back. It's the only way I'll answer his phone calls. Well, now I answer his phone calls on normal call number, but he's creeping his way back in. I don't know. We get along better, so it's okay. I don't need a warning that he's calling me. But I do like to keep his text organized, because most of the time we're only texting about the kids, because I choose not to have that person in my life anymore, and that's just because I don't care for how they are as a being anymore, I guess. But that doesn't mean that they're not a good dad,
Right.
So
I didn't have anything really to organize. So at the very, very beginning, before we actually went to court for the divorce, it was text and it was all over the place. Eventually it became email only. Well, email recommended. I am a big texter because I see those notifications. But I'm grateful that I didn't have that in those moments. Because I feel like I would have made it to the loony bin a lot sooner.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Yes. So, I mean, just keep it to one thing.
Just make it as simple as you can, whatever works for your life,
Emails is what the judge said is easier. So if you need to print them out, you've got them handier instead of text, screenshot.
I still have emails from like all the way back to 2019.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend as some calming techniques when that name does pop up and you are triggered and you need to stop?
I would say just close your eyes and take as many deep breaths as you need to. Or something that like brings me joy is music. So put on your favorite song and just sing your heart out.
When you sing your heart out, it activates the throat chakra, which you kind of need in that time, because you want to speak your truth, but you can't, because they won't understand. It's going to just end up being useless. So sing it out. Just, You
want to know what my go-to song was?
What?
Champion by Carrie Underwood.
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
So, like, on my way to go get her, I think I would play it like 5 or 6 times and blast it, because, like, I know who I am. It was just such a good song in that moment.
I liked Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire.
That's a good one,
That was
too.
one of my go-to divorce songs.
Who has a go-to divorce song? I love that. I bet everybody does. I bet everybody does.
Okay, so the next big topic that I have to deal with quite a bit is how to shift out of hate and change your perspective.
Yeah.
So why do you think shifting out of hate and changing your perspective is even important to feel like you're thriving? Like, why does that matter? Why can't you be thriving and still hate them to death?
You can't. I mean, those, just like any hate, negativity, it will affect you, whether you see it or not. Like, it will affect, like, you at your core, how you perform at work, how you show up for your kids, how you show up for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, I mean, I carried a lot of hate.
Me too.
For a really long time. And I'm not quite sure at what point it shifted. But it's a daily choice. Oh, okay. This is the route we're going today? This is the route we're going today. But I just come at it with love. Like, how do you handle it?
Well, for me, I think I definitely used to ruminate on the hate a lot.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, you couldn't even hang out with me hardly. Nobody wanted to hang out with me. I was that person during my divorce. Like, here's all of my, no one's listening to me.
And all you wanted to talk about was just
the divorce.
That on repeat.
Oh, I know, and loopy. It was terrible. But that's because that's what my mind was doing. I was just letting it run wild. And it wasn't until I started learning how to control my mind through hypnosis and different mental practices and mindset shifts that I was able to truly start feeling like I have other things to talk about. Like, I'm more than this stupid divorce.
Right. Right.
I'm more than that relationship. I'm this person. And so to shift out of hate, one big shift you could do is to learn to love yourself.
Oh, yeah, I agree. 100%. Once you focus on yourself and you do that self-care, and you do that self-love, self-growth,
yeah,
it shifts like automatic. That's why I can't pinpoint when it happened. It slowly shifts.
Yeah.
And then the light comes.
Yeah. It's like taking medicine. You want it to work right away. And the antibiotics, like, let's say like an antibiotic, right? It's just like hypnosis. You take it and it works and you feel great the next day, but you don't feel 100%, right? You still have that lingering sickness underneath.
Yeah.
And then you keep taking it, you keep doing it, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like, I feel amazing. Like, I can't believe I ever even needed that. That's so silly. Right. And what's hilarious about hypnotherapy is people don't like telling their loved ones that they're getting hypnosis done to help them.
Really?
They get, like, embarrassed almost, which I think is so funny. I'm like, why? But I guess it does sound a little weird seeing a hypnotist.
It's like going to a therapist, but I feel like it's like a much more enjoyable experience.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like calm and happy and peaceful when you're done with hypnosis. And I've done plenty of therapy, and you don't necessarily feel that way.
You don't feel good when you leave. I used to do EMDR, and it helped me a lot, but also was one of the most painful ways of healing. If I ever made somebody feel that way during one of my sessions, then I did not accomplish my goal. Like, my goal is to have you, maybe you're going to feel a little bit of uncomfortableness when we tap into something that might be raw. Tears might flow, but then we're going to, like, patch it up and heal it with light, and then we're going to just fill you with love and confidence and all this wonderfulness. And then by the time you're done, you're like, I can't believe that was even a problem. I like to end my sessions with, I now feel as if. So I want you to finish that sentence, I now feel as if, and then I have them say it. And it's so wonderful, some of the things that they come up with, and it's like, good. You now feel as if you can accomplish your goals.
I love it.
Yeah.
I wish it was more known about hypnotherapy as opposed to actual therapy. I mean, maybe coincide, but I've done EMDR, and like, I tell you, I had to stop the therapist. Like, I can't do this.
It's painful
anymore.
Yeah.
But you can you can get the most amazing results from hypnotherapy. And then you have places to go to in those hard moments.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to your safe place and you can picture all the beautiful things that you've created.
Right.
And it brings you instant peace, instant relief, and like...
Yeah. You know, I had a dental fear client, and when you hypnotize somebody to not be scared of the dentist, you teach them how to hypnotize themselves. Because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, so you teach them how to relax and how to go back in the hypnotist or in the dentist chair, and you have them imagine just being at the beach or somewhere beautiful while they're sitting in the dental chair. And I checked up on her and I said, hey, how was that appointment? And I also often recommend people having like some type of jewelry, something they can fidget with anytime they're gonna go anywhere with a lot of anxiety. So they have some way, just something calming to them. So she wore her grandmother's ring, and then she did my hypnosis while she was in the chair, and she's like, it was wonderful, everything went great, and she's like, I booked my next appointment, I'm excited to go, and I'm like, wow. And this is a woman who hasn't been able to go to the dentist since she was 3 years old.
No way.
Like, she's always fought going to the dentist. Isn't that crazy?
Cow.
Yeah, and that was one session. Yeah.
It's like, it can be life-changing.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
Even if you're ready or you're not ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know that you are. I mean, you just have to try it.
Yeah, you gotta try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so back on track.
Sure.
So, well, I guess that does lead us to how you fall back in love with yourself. That's one of the ways you can work on falling in love with yourself, is definitely through hypnosis.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you notice that you've done to help fall back in love with yourself?
Oof. That's a great question. I feel like it's something that I have struggled with, is like loving myself. I focus on what my strengths are. So my strengths are decorating for birthday parties, throwing birthday parties.
Heck yeah. And bachelorette parties.
And bachelorette parties, yes. So it's just like making people feel loved makes me love myself. Just doing what I'm passionate about. But like, I really enjoy self-care moments, like the nights when I like don't have kids, or they know like, hey, mom's got her meditation music on, let her be, and like light a candle, and you can just be with yourself and grow that way.
Yeah.
What about for you?
So similar, definitely a lot of self-care. And then I think a lot of just reconnecting with like my values, and like, because for a long time I struggled with being like a working mom and all this stuff, and then that was hard, you know, going through a divorce and not feeling like I was being there for my kids. So that made me feel really bad about myself. So one of the things that I was able to do was to kind of connect with my values and be like, no, family security is like one of my number one values. So me working and doing things that are providing for my children and their future is really important, right? So I'm doing a good job and taking care of my kids, even though maybe I have to be busy some nights, you know.
They see that.
Oh yeah.
I worked 2 jobs for 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I had a job where it was unlimited overtime, so I would be working like 12 to 15 hour days. And I would definitely agree, like, you are the person for your kids, so you do have to show up, and then in turn, like, you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Not that you should work 15 hours a day.
No.
Like, nobody should. You definitely need a work-life balance.
Yeah. That was when we were in the thick of things. I was working, I think at one point I had 3 jobs. I was a hairstylist, and I worked at Taco Bell and Pizza Hut as a pizza driver.
I want Taco Bell.
Did you ever see me at Taco Bell?
I don't think I did.
No.
No, I didn't. I think I was in like so deep with everything I was going into. I was self-isolating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
yeah, I don't know. I was in a blur of working and seeing my kids in visitation, and
yeah, I feel like it was just like a daze for both of us for so many years, coinciding with each other. So we're like, Crystal, where are you? Sheena, where are you? But
yeah, we were always there to lift each other up when we needed it.
Yeah, for sure.
So having a good support system is important too.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah. Because sometimes I know early on in my divorce, I surrounded myself with some people that didn't give me the best advice, or kind of encouraged, like, you should say this or do that, or, you know, they give him messages, or, you know, get involved. And it's like, those are the kind of people that it's time to like back away from.
Yeah.
Give minimal information. Nobody needs to know about you.
No.
Don't throw your pearls before swine. Don't just give all your information to, you don't know who is on your side all the time.
You don't. And they'll twist your words.
Oh, yeah. And so you got to make sure that you kind of, you know, I went from like this huge friend group because we were partying all the time, and I stopped talking to all of them. And I went to this tiny little friend group that included you and a few others. And then I started bringing in more and more amazing people in my life. And now I'm like, holy cow, I have the most gorgeous friends. I don't even know how I manifested like these beautiful, stunning friends. And they're all as lovely inside as they are outside. I mean, like... Yeah,
you've got some good friends.
Yeah, it's just so amazing.
Yeah.
And that all happens by, you know, using discernment when you're talking to people. You know?
I've let too many people in that didn't deserve to be let in. Looking for somebody to take care of me in my darkest times. And it caused more chaos in my life. So if I would have reached out to you, reached out to other friends that I've had for a very, very long time, and trusted they would be there for me, instead of a guy I just met, I feel like it would have been so much better. I would have gotten better advice. And not everybody has good advice. No, absolutely not.
We have good advice.
Definitely good advice now. So like family members, siblings, I'm very close with my siblings. So I should have just reached out to them more, and asked for that. Like, how do I handle this? Like, I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Would have been really helpful. So just finding those solid people and cling to them like your life depends on it.
Use them, right?
Yeah.
I remember one time you were going through something hard, and I was like, Sheena, why don't you use me? You never use me. Like, I'm here, just right here, down the street, you know? I
think it's a guilt thing. Like, you don't want to put that on your friends.
Yeah, and no, I do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so you just...
I know. And now I've kind of like, okay, my friends aren't checking in on me, or I'm not checking in on them. Maybe I'm not doing so well. Like, my phone hasn't gone off in a few days. Maybe I should be reaching out to my friends.
I need to be better about that. You just, you get so consumed with the kids. Like,
you do.
I've got 3, and my 8-year-old goes to school 45 minutes away. So it's my life, I swear, is just consumed with my 8-year-old. So, but it's so important to take time for you. Like, that's the only way you're going to keep going.
Oh, yeah. You got to use your girlfriends.
Yeah.
You got to take your time. You got to have your girls' nights.
You do.
Yeah.
We're planning one coming up.
We are. I know. I love hosting our girls' group. Those are so fun.
They are the funnest.
Yes. So, take life day by day, right? But every once in a while, it's really important to look back on how far you've come. You know?
Yeah. Have you ever gone back to look at, like, everything you've accomplished, let's say, in 2024? Have you gone back even yet and looked back at what you've accomplished?
Just in 2024?
Yeah, just in 2024.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, the 2024 was huge for me.
I know. Have you gone back and been like, I accomplish, and then like write a whole list of things.
I haven't, but I should.
You should.
Yeah, because I did a lot in 2023.
Yes.
And you know, at the very beginning of 2023,
2024,
sorry. I went to a hypnosis seminar thing with some big hypnosis guy that I follow, and he's great, but his hypnosis is very different than mine. So I went, but he has you do this thing where you write down how much money you want to manifest by the end of the year, and you make some astronomical number, right? Mm-hmm. So I wrote down my number, and then he's like, okay, now make your real goal. And I totally accomplished that goal.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he had us write it on this like block of wood, and you chop it in half. It was really cool. It was very empowering.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
We should do that for our next girls' night.
We should. I think that'd be great.
But I think, so like I remember one year, I felt like it was the hardest year I ever went through. And I was like, I'm going to write down everything that I went through. It was the negative stuff. I wrote down all of it. I think I still have that list. I got through it.
You got through it.
Yeah, by the time I wrote the last thing.
The negative stuff, you're like, look at what I've got through.
I'm still standing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was like, focus on the positive for sure. But it's nice to see what you went through and you're still standing.
Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, girl. So we're not going to let others dim our light.
No.
No.
No. Never again.
Never again.
No.
All right. So let's talk about close it up with our top 6 pieces of advice. 6 pieces. We were going to do 5, but we added 1 for you because yours was so good.
Okay.
Okay. Top 6 pieces of advice. 6. From a hypnotherapist and her sister. 1, always hold on to your love for yourself and your children and do what's best for them first.
Right.
Yeah, that's the number 1 thing.
I love it.
Yep. Number 2, you matter, so take care of yourself.
So important.
So important. 3, of course I have to throw this one in. Do hypnosis.
Because it works.
Because it works.
It really does.
It does.
I've had my daughter come and see it.
Feels so good.
Yes, you feel so good.
It does. It's a mental massage. Why wouldn't you want to go get a mental massage regularly like you would want to get a physical massage? Knowing the mental massage is not only going to feel so good, but also going to transform your life.
It really will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you also to be like more present, so you can be in the moment with your kids. Like, there's so many advantages.
Just what I've seen, the clients that you've had, me, my daughter, it's been life-changing, and I wish I could do it all the time.
Yeah. You know, one of the benefits of being a hypnotherapist is when you hypnotize somebody, it puts you into a trance state. So you benefit from what you're saying, because I know for myself, when I tell them, you know, imagine a waterfall, well, I see a waterfall too, you know? So I'm imagining along right with them. And I swear, like, I lost weight super easily just by hypnotizing people. I stopped smoking. Like, it was just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
everybody should eventually
just be a hypnotherapist. Duh. All right. And then, okay, so tip number 4 is to kill them with kindness and boundaries. Yeah. So when you do communicate, this is how you do it. You validate, then you empathize, then you ask for what you want, and then you set your boundaries. So you go, oh, you're right. Oh, it has been pretty crazy, going on with the kids lately. Wow. You sure sound like a really great person. I don't know, however you want to validate them. And then empathize, and then I'm so sorry you're going through that with the kids. I know I would really struggle with that too. And then you go, don't text me anymore unless it's about something important. Have a nice day.
You do have to set boundaries,
Yeah.
or you'll lose yourself, like we
Yeah.
talked about. Yeah.
All right. And then follow your values. So always follow your values throughout that divorce, because if you don't follow your values, because when I wasn't following my values,
Yeah.
you know, when I was turning to substances, when I was turning to like relationships and different things that were not good for me, I felt awful. It felt like survival mode. I felt like I was dying, like drowning every day, because I was just not making the choices that aligned with who I am.
Yep.
And now that I feel like I've aligned with my values, I'm like totally thriving, you know?
You are. And I feel the same way. Like I've made so many bad choices. But your core values, I mean, I feel like have very similar core values with how we were raised and mixed in with who we truly are now, you know? Okay. Just let that be who you are and show, and you will feel so much better.
So much better.
Yep.
Yes. And number 6, never give up.
Never.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. You can get through it.
You can. It's hard.
It's hard.
But there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Definitely.
There is light. And just keep smiling.
Yeah.
And reach out.
Reach out. Get help.
Reach out to you.
Yes. So, I was just going to talk about how now, after my divorce, I feel as though, like, I'm joyful most of the time. You know, like, I feel happy and fun. And I never thought that I would ever feel that again, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I really, like, I thought that was, like, an unachievable goal. And now I'm like, I'm here. I did it. You know?
Yes, you did.
Yep. And you can too.
You can.
And you did it.
I did, yes. I feel like it was like the never-ending tunnel. Like, we're never getting through this. I wasn't sure when we were, but we did. And I love life. And you just have to let your light shine, because it's there.
Yes. And you have the most amazing light.
Yeah.
And everybody can see it. You know, it's just so bright. Like, you just spread joy to everyone.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. All right. Well, thank you for doing my little podcast today.
Yeah, of course. It was so fun. It was actually, like, I feel like re-talking about that was so helpful.
Yeah, me too. It's a good reminders too.
Style.